Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. I saw my husband caught with a woman in a picture while scrolling a local influencer's link. He was supposed to be out of town. I don't know what to do. We just had our baby 6 weeks ago, and when he told me about his business trip, I got a little upset because I'm all alone here and this is our first child, so I don't know what the H we're doing most of the time. I couldn't just refuse to let him go, however, because I knew when I met him that traveling is part of his job, so he left. He's very supportive otherwise. Very happy about being a father, and he called us maybe 5 to 6 times a day to see if we're doing alright. Last night I was scrolling down and there he was in the background of a local celebrity I followed, sitting in a restaurant with his friend from uni. The woman who always disliked me and who he told me not to worry about. He's been on this trip since Monday and is supposed to come back on Monday. I'm so heartbroken. I don't know what to do. I will obviously talk to him when he gets home, but what are my options afterwards? I'm a stay-at-home wife right now and I haven't worked since I graduated 5 years ago. My husband makes a good living and he didn't think me working was a necessity. I don't have a family except him. If I leave him, how am I going to fend for my son? Who is going to take care of him if I start working? I feel so trapped. Edit. I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of messages and support. I'm going to make it clear here that I'm not going to jump into any conclusions yet. I just had my suspicions about the friend and I was always wary of her. I'm going to give my husband the benefit of the doubt, of course, but unfortunately my gut feeling is telling me this is what I'm dreading the most. Thank you. Screenshot IT in case she deletes IT. I agree with the screenshot just in case my husband denies it. Wish I had a nickel for every time we just had a baby and now my husband is cheating story comes up on Reddit. I genuinely don't know how common of a situation this is, pretty terrible if so. I'm beginning to think that there are men out there that plan for a baby so their partner is distracted. Or trapped. The things Op is worried about are pretty common concerns. A woman may be more likely to look the other way on infidelity if she feels like she has no other financial or social support for her and a young child. It's something like 82% of cheater men start cheating after their first child with a partner. I saw my husband with a woman in a picture while scrolling a local influencer's link. He was supposed to be out of town. Hello again, I'm so happy I found you guys here. My husband is home now. It was what I feared. I don't know if I did a terrible job of explaining the situation in my last post. But the influencer lives in our city and she was in a restaurant in our city. My husband was supposed to be out of town on business. I took the advice you gave me about influencers not usually posting same-day pictures, but it still struck me as odd because he has never mentioned having dinner with this friend. I tried to contact the influencer but she has over 1.5 million followers. As I said, my husband's work includes a lot of traveling and he usually does a video tour in his hotel room for me or sends me some pictures. This time he didn't, so yesterday when he called I asked him to FaceTime me to see our son. He told me to wait because the room was messy and he called after 5 minutes. We talked and he saw our son and then I asked him for a mini tour. He showed me some parts and I took some screenshots. My husband laughed about me taking screenshots and was a bit confused. It isn't that unusual for me to do anyway, so he didn't make a fuss. I later went to hotels.com and started comparing pictures. I found the hotel within 15 minutes. It's less than 10 minutes from our place. It was a bit late but I took my son and went anyway. The front desk didn't want to tell me what room he was in. I asked her to tell him to come down but she refused to do that too since it was midnight. I texted him to come down to the reception. When he came down he was like he was seeing a ghost. I told him to take me to his hotel room now. He refused and asked me to go home and that he would explain everything later. I told him if he didn't take me to his room now and without warning his friend I would scream. I don't know why I wanted to see her. It's like even after finding out he's been in town all this time and even after seeing the look on his face I still wanted to catch them to drive the message home, so my heart doesn't cave to his excuses and explanations that he was already starting on. He refused, however, to take me up. So I just left with my baby. He came home maybe an hour after me and he wanted to talk and explain when I'm ready. I'm not ready yet. I asked him to move out and leave me be for the time being. He agreed. I don't know why he did this. Why did he marry me? I'm 29 and he's 39. His mistress is 39. She's a single mom and they're more compatible and they get along very well. And they obviously love each other, so why didn't he just be with her instead and save us all the heartbreak? Honestly, what's wrong with people? More update. I'm sorry, I don't want to make any more updates. My husband has agreed to move out of our apartment. Since we have a prenup, I'm essentially not entitled to anything, but he has offered the apartment since I have nowhere to go. I told him I needed more assurance that the apartment is for me and my son. He's going to transfer the deeds in my name, whatever that means. I'm also going to get alimony or allowance or whatever it's called until my son is old enough to start looking for jobs. All of this conversation was recorded. On Monday I'm going to talk to a lawyer to make sure what my husband promised me is going to happen. In return, he asked me for separation and not divorce for 2 years. I agreed. About the other woman, I don't know if it's worth my energy to find out more. They have been FWB when they're single but never had a relationship. They've known each other for 20 years. I didn't want to hear anything about them. I always had my suspicions. He made the usual excuses about her meaning nothing. It was a mistake and this was their first time because he felt neglected because I wasn't as interested in him as before the baby. He swore he never slept with her during our marriage until this week. I don't believe him. If they end up together I wouldn't be surprised, even though he assured me it will never happen because he doesn't love her. The hotel was less than 10 minutes from your house but he showed up like an hour late. Instead of running after you. Obviously he had to go to her to talk about the plan with her. PFFFFF idiot. Exactly. There is nothing left to say to him. Don't listen to the shit, get a lawyer. Split. And start the divorce proceedings. Separation for 2 years instead of divorce could hurt you depending on the prenup and your state laws. You may end up with nothing if you wait. Talk to a lawyer ASAP. He is so far below the scum of the earth. Yeah, that part made me suspicious. I'd look over the prenup to see if there's some kind of clause about separation before divorce. Maybe it voids alimony or something. What I was thinking. He could easily say it's not cheating because she initiated a separation and she refused to try to reconcile. Shit, I wouldn't put it past him. Whoa. I caught my husband with a woman in a picture while scrolling down a local influencer's link. He was supposed to be out of town. Final update. Hi again. I wasn't planning a new update. I am so appreciative of all the support I've got here, but also I have received a big amount of hate. It's a small number compared with the majority of people who showed me support, but I don't know why it got to me anyway. Maybe because I already feel vulnerable, or maybe because these things were always in the back of my head. I was attacked for being a stay-at-home wife, for being young, for being a gold digger, for having an older husband, for having a rich husband, for having a baby with my husband, for exposing my husband's infidelity, for not having a safety net, for trusting my husband, for not trusting my husband enough, for demanding that the man I love leave our home after he cheated on me, and it goes on. I should have just ignored everything and concentrated on healing, and I'm going to do that, but I have a small final update to share with the thousands that cared and supported me. I don't have a family because I'm an only child. My parents died when I was 5. My grandmother raised me. She died when I was 20. Many have requested an update about his friend. I texted her that she's an ugly, pathetic, cheap HOE who always hated me and always was jealous of me. That even if she ended my marriage and ruined my happiness and the chance for my baby to grow up with both his parents and the future siblings we've planned, she will never have my husband because she's an ugly, pathetic, cheap HOE. It has never happened and it will never happen, but if her goal in life was to sneak around in hotels with married men, then congratulations. I told her I wished what she got from him was worth ruining my life, but that I'm happy that I at least don't need to have her in my life again. I didn't feel any better, to be honest, and regret stooping so low. She texted me back a picture of her and my husband at the hotel with the winking emoji. I forwarded it to my husband. This was yesterday. He showed up around dinner and told me everything. He slept with her during our relationship. He told me he was sorry and that he was relieved now I knew everything because she can't hold it against him anymore. I kicked him out. I regret knowing all this. We had our first meeting with the lawyers today. The prenup covers my husband's assets up until we get married. He comes from a wealthy family. I'm not going to touch any of that. My husband is self-made, however. I'm entitled to 50% of everything he made since we got married. My husband also offered our apartment as an apology, even if the apartment was from his family, and he's going to pay child support. It's really all I need right now and much more than I expected. Divorce takes a couple of years or even more sometimes, especially when children are involved. I think my husband lives with the hopes that I'll forgive him down the road. I know he's always been generous, but he must have some kind of hope to make me this offer because it can't be just remorse. He apologized for hurting me and I can't even describe how lonely and devastated I'm right now. He and my son are my only family and I've lost him, and all for what? I can't believe I still love him so very much, and since he moved out I haven't stopped crying. I miss him. How could he do this to us for an ugly, pathetic, cheap HOE? Get everything agreed upon and in writing, quickly. He might be willing to give stuff up right now, but he might change his tune in the coming weeks/months. Do not trust him to keep his word on anything. That's what the lawyers are going to do. I'm unfortunately very ignorant about these things. I just want my home and my baby safe. Do you have your own lawyer? If not, the lawyers you met with are your husband's lawyers. Get your own representation to comb through the prenup for an infidelity clause. I strongly suspect he's being so generous now because he may be vulnerable to something in the prenup. Contact an attorney of your own ASAP. They will end up getting paid by your husband. Consultations are free. If he has moved out, change the locks on the door, or at the very least set up boundaries as to when he can come over. Do not give him unfettered access like he still lives there. He's handed you a shit sandwich, but you don't have to eat it exactly how he's serving it to you. Edit, clarification. Acknowledged drop here too. Folded hands. Adding to this. Get a full screen STD panel done to make sure you're safe. Who knows where else they've been? They're total boz. Glad you found out. Stay safe. Get yourself to the doctors ASAP and your own legal representation. The above advice is very sound. Wishing you and your son the very best ahead. Thanks. This 100%. I lost spousal support as I waited too long, listening to my ex promise the world for our ill child, and he, along with coaching from his mistress, stopped paying altogether. He made his decisions and ultimately lost his daughter to a most magnificent new daddy. Our now adult daughter has minimal contact with him, lives on the other side of the country, and he, with mistress turned wife, is broke. Your husband is so weird because he was never gonna tell about the fact they slept together if it weren't for that picture. He has probably not told me everything either. They never tell you more than what you already know. And you shouldn't torture yourself with it. Take this time to heal and focus on your son. Tuck him and his side piece. It's toxic energy you don't need, nail polish. So this week wasn't the only time then? He had slept with her before you caught them at the hotel? Yes, throughout our entire relationship. They have been sleeping together for almost 20 years. They slept together before our wedding and she filmed it. Thereafter she extorted money and sex out of him. That's the story he's going by. She won't stop lol. She will drain his bank accounts now. And when she is done with him she will find another prey. Serves him right if you ask me. I was very shaken yesterday after the picture, but I think it will help me in the long run not to make excuses for him. I want my home, and my baby to be cared for. She can take the rest. It is pretty normal to be shaken. Also get your own lawyer. Don't trust his. Use that photo in your divorce settlement. Have everything written and documented. Clapping, clapping, clapping. Warrior. Sorry for what happened to you, praying for the best. This. When I saw pics of my ex's kid that he accidentally sent me after we split, it was all the motivation I needed to get him out of my life forever. I had always wondered who the father of his friend was. Turns out, my 3 jobs paid for her first 5 years of life. After what she sent you, I'd probably believe there's a bit of truth to this. But I don't care. He did it in the first place. Tell him to charge her with extortion. It isn't a small crime. He's living with his brother currently, and I'm very close friends with my sister-in-law, the wife. The mistress went to visit my husband today and they had a row in the driveway, and he threatened her with the police if she contacted him again. He kept saying you can't do anything now. It's not my problem anymore, but I'm nosy frown. It's a drama. Amusing drama, but drama you don't need. Just wait, karma is going to rip a chunk out of her bag over there. I hope you have a good support system through this, for you and baby. His family is supportive of me, and I'm very close with my husband's brother and his wife, and I have a few friends here. And I have my childhood friends and bestie in my hometown that I speak with daily. I'm so sorry you have to go through this. I wish you all the best. Keep up with everything that he tells you about her. Ask your attorney about suing her for alienation of affection. Bro, WTF. They're absolute garbage humans, and they deserve each other. Take this information to your lawyer and comb over that prenuptial. Take every penny from that asshole. Looks like you're going to have the last laugh. I wish you nothing but happiness. Tell him to go to the police with all this. You should probably go with him to see if these are lies or not, since you have proof on your phone, and you're still technically his wife. Yay, he ducked up, but at least you can end this whore once and for all. Well, I'm pretty sure that's a lie. Drip. Drip. Trickle truth. Exactly. Your husband is painting himself as the victim by giving you the apartment. I normally don't support alimony, but in cases like cheating I say milk him dry. Fight for full custody. Only allow him visitation if possible. I know you are peepy, and on top of that going through the stress of divorce. I know you feel lonely, but trust me, it will pass. But you have to take care of yourself. You need to take care of your mental health first. Right now your focus should be getting a divorce ASAP and your son. And he is not sorry at all. He doesn't feel guilty for cheating, because if he did he wouldn't crawl back into the arms of his HOE while you are suffering. He doesn't care about you, and all he cares about is his own image that is hanging from the thread. He is only sorry that he got caught. He is a vile man. You didn't lose a husband. You lost a scum on the earth. So not a huge loss if you ask me. Update us when he comes back crawling begging for you to take him back. Also, that woman is so cheap. I mean, really? He chose a $10 whore over his own wife? I hope he gets every STD there exists. And to the husband. If you are reading this, then duck you. You traded a family for your weeping dick. I hope you are happy with a whore who will leave you for another man soon. You just traded diamonds for a pile of garbage. I hope the guilt eats you up, and when your son learns the truth, I hope he hates you. Most relationships that start with infidelity always break up. Because the other person will always have doubts that the other is cheating, because if they are capable of doing it once, they can do it again. They may like it. I know someone who has had multiple affairs with married men. She loves the drama that follows, and has openly said so. She's excited by the sneaking around, the shouting, the tears, it's all like a movie to her. In fact, she's disappointed and bored once it ends. She's a complete psychopath, as you can imagine. She's not violent, but she craves the intensity of the drama, and doesn't care how she gets it. Just go forward with the divorce. Most relationships don't survive infidelity. My 8-year relationship is ending in part BC of my partner's infidelity and how it has impacted me. It's killed my self-esteem and happiness. I refuse to be miserable any longer. We also have a toddler and I only ever stayed for him. It wasn't enough and it won't ever be enough. We just aren't meant to be, and that's okay, even though it really ducking sucks and hurts. You will find the light, Op, just like I will. We deserve better. I'm sorry about your marriage. But I'm like you, an all or nothing type of person. I'd rather mourn for a period than stay and live with the images in my head of him with her. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.